This is a Rogue Media Network production.
Welcome to the show. Today, we are delighted to welcome Jeff Pirtle, who is Associate Librarian and Director of the Texas Collection. I'm so excited to get to talk about this. University Archives, the W.R. Poage Legislative Library. Jeff plays a vital role in preserving Texas history.
That's right.
I don't think that's overstating it. Political heritage, the stories that help us understand who we are and how we got here. Now, he's in charge of safeguarding rare documents, making history accessible for students and researchers and the general public. And his work is kind of at the intersection of scholarship, civic life, and community memory. So important. We're so glad to have you here,
Well,
Jeff.
thank you. It's an honor to be
I'm
here.
excited to talk to you, and I want to talk about your previous life. You and your family moved here from California,
Right.
from Los Angeles.
Correct.
And you were with NBC Universal
Yes.
as an archivist. I just fascinated with that. So, okay, since I started it, let's go ahead and talk about that. Let's talk
Okay.
about your life before Baylor in the Texas Collection.
So we can go a little bit farther back. I'm a Texan, so let's get that out of the way first.
Oh, good.
I was born and raised in Amarillo,
Oh, yeah.
and got my undergraduate degree and graduate degrees both from Texas Tech and Lubbock. I'm West Texas. So, yeah, after getting my graduate degree in museum science, I had the opportunity to do an internship with the Getty Research Center, Getty Research Institute, which is part of the Getty Center in Los Angeles. And so that was the last part of my graduate degree. And so I moved to Los Angeles. I lived in Manhattan Beach for about 9 months while I did this internship. I was literally like 150 yards from the beach and loved it. Worked in Marina Del Rey, and I helped prepare the Getty Research Institute's collections of rare photographs and materials for move into the Getty Center, which opened in 1997.
Okay, so it's relatively new.
It's relatively new, yeah. So that was really my first foray into California, but I knew I wanted to get back to Texas. So moved back to Texas, had an opportunity to work at the Amon Carter Museum in Fort Worth, which was a wonderful experience. The collections there are amazing. And then from that job, I took on a position as the Museum and Archives project manager for J.C. Penney's corporate headquarters up in Plano.
Interesting.
So J.C. Penney's huge corporate complex that's up there, they had a little corporate museum. Then they also had a piece American art collection that decorated the entire building. And so I was responsible for that art collection, which was wonderful. There were Andy Warhols and
Really?
Thomas Hart Benton and lots of great art there. And then the little museum that was there. And then I also managed the corporate archives, which were James Cash Penney's personal papers and his accounting ledgers and things like that. So that was a lot of fun. And I was there through J.C. Penney's 100th anniversary, which took place in 2002. So that was a big part of my job, was getting all the archival material ready for reference for J.C. Penney's 100th anniversary.
Yeah.
So after that wonderful experience at J.C. Penney, the time came around where the 100th anniversary was over. I was still single, and I was thinking to myself, wow, I sure did love that time in Los Angeles, working for the Getty Research Center and living in Manhattan Beach. And I wonder if there's any other job opportunities out there. So I started throwing my resume out a little bit and sent some to the Getty again. And then, I was on an archives listserv and saw a job posting for an archivist at Universal Studios. And so I thought, oh, this sounds interesting. So I put in an application, and next thing I know, I'm flying out to Los Angeles and interviewing at the Universal Studios lot, and ended up getting this job. And I told myself whenever I took that job, oh, I'll give it 3 or 4 more years, and then I'm going to get back to Texas. That's where all my family is. It's where my friends are. And that turned into 20 years.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
So I was at NBC. I was started off with Universal Studios. At that time, the parent company was Vivendi, which was like a French water utility company or something. And then in 2005, Vivendi sold Universal Studios to GE, General Electric. Then General Electric merged NBC with Universal to create NBC Universal. So the archival material that we were collecting had originally just been Universal Pictures, Universal Television assets. And then once we merged with NBC, we started collecting from the NBC side of the
stuff,
family also. And so, yeah, it was the department. It was only about 4 years old when I joined. And by the time I left 3.5 years ago, I think we had gotten to a pretty good spot with it. And so it was a good time. It was time for both, I met Eleanor in California. We had our son there. She was
a California girl.
Well, she's actually, she was born in Gulfport, Mississippi.
Okay.
But her family moved to Houston when she was in middle school. So she did middle school, high school in Houston.
Okay. So she's got a lot of Texas.
And then she went to A&M.
Oh, yeah.
And so and we actually met in California because I hung out with a big group of Texans in Los Angeles, and everybody knew everybody by like 2 degrees of separation out there.
That's fun to know.
And Eleanor was she was working for Walmart at the time and was living in Bentonville, Arkansas, and then had an opportunity to move to San Francisco to work at the Walmart.com offices. So she was working at Walmart.com in San Francisco. And she was really good for high school friends with some of our friend group in Los Angeles. And she had meetings in LA and looked up her old friends. And our mutual friend told her, I'm going to introduce you to Jeff Pirtle and you're going to marry him. and sure
like
enough,
that, it happened.
That's what happened.
That's what happened. And you have a wonderful son.
And he's a 7th grader.
He's a 7th grader already. So you got to Texas, though, and she wasn't so sure she wanted to move to Waco,
she was pretty reluctant at first. We had been looking for opportunities to get back to Texas at some point. She wanted to get back. I wanted to get back just to be closer to our families. And so we had kind of been keeping an eye out for job opportunities. And then I saw this job at Baylor come up as director of the Texas collection. And I said, hey, what about moving to Waco? What would you think of that? And she was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Put in an application. We'll see what happens. And so once it started looking like it was going to become a reality, she started having some second thoughts of like, I don't know if I'm going to be good for this. But Waco was perfect because her family moved back to Mississippi. They're all in Jackson now.
Oh, yeah. And that's not a hard drive.
It's a 7-hour drive to Jackson.
Bad, yeah.
It's a 7-hour drive to Amarillo, where my whole family is. Yeah. So we're right in the middle.
You're good.
And it's just perfect to be here in Waco. And about 6 or 9 months into being here, she told me, I really love Waco. I didn't think I was going to love it, but we've made such good friends in such a short period of time, and just getting involved with the community and getting to know people, and we love it here.
Yeah, well, so glad you made that move here.
Well, thank you.
For anybody that's not aware or familiar, what is the Texas Collection?
So, in a nutshell, the Texas Collection is the world's largest collection Texana that is privately held. So because we're with Baylor, which is a private school, we don't compare ourselves to like the Texas State Library and Archives or UT Austin or any of the big state schools that collect materials documenting the history of Texas. And so we're the world's largest privately held collection of Texana. What that includes is rare maps. So we have maps dating to the 16th century documenting Spanish exploration into the New World and into Texas.
Do you have the Jacob de Cordova map?
I don't think we have that in the collection. I'll have to double check that.
Okay, all right. Because I know where there is one, but
Yeah, I'm not sure if we have that one. We do have some really historic maps of Waco,
uh-huh.
though dating to the 1860s,
Yeah.
1870s, some of those old bird's eye views of Waco.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a wonderful map collection. We also have rare books that go back to the 15th century. Also, again, documenting Spanish exploration into the New World. And so that's really what our focus is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the area that is now Texas in the pre-Republic, Republic, and statehood incarnations of
Mm-hmm.
Texas throughout the years. So in addition to the maps and rare books, we also have a bunch of manuscript collections. And so we do have a Jacob de Cordova collection
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
documents, him being an early pioneer in Waco. And we have a lot of different family papers documenting pioneering families here in Texas, a lot of their original letters that they've written.
Mm-hmm.
We, of course, have Civil War letters and collections that people from Texas who are fighting in the Civil War were writing back to Texas. And it gives a real snapshot into what was going on here
Mm-hmm.
during the Civil War. So it's material like that. We're also continuously looking to collect from the 20th century as well. So there are certain gaps within the collection that we're always looking to fill. For example, we recently brought in Lester Gibson's papers, who served as McLennan County Commissioner
Yeah.
for Precinct 2 for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a real wonderful acquisition that we brought into the W.R. Poage Library, which is the collection of political materials. And so in addition to those local collections that we maintain, so we have some like mayoral papers as well. But we also have Bob Bullock's papers, who served as
Mm-hmm.
Lieutenant Governor of Texas.
He's got a pretty good library.
Yeah, he's got a
in,
whole museum down in Austin.
That's definitely.
And so
worth
we
a trip.
have in his papers, there's all the documentation of the opening of the museum, and the planning of that, and the groundbreaking.
Really?
So
Oh,
all of
that's
that
cool.
material's there. But yeah, I always like to say that although we're called the Texas Collection, that any Baylor student, no matter where you're from, that they can identify with something that we have at the Texas Collection, because there's so many institutions and organizations that may have originated in Texas, that we
Mm-hmm.
have their papers, we have documentation of it, but then may have grown throughout the country, throughout the world. And we have those papers at the Texas Collection.
Yeah.
So, I just sent an email this morning to a PhD candidate at Duke University who wants to come do a research fellowship with us because he's studying evangelical movements in Brazil. And we have the Bagby papers, which were a Waco-based family, Baptist missionaries that would send missionaries to Brazil. And so we have that whole collection at the
Wow.
Texas Collection.
Huh.
So, yeah, the information really is limitless that we maintain at the Texas Collection.
I do know you have the original manuscript to the state song.
We do. Texas, our Texas. So that's an interesting story, because there was a contest that was held by the state of Texas in the early 1920s whenever Pat Neff was governor,
Mm-hmm.
and people submitted their recommendations for the state song to the Texas state government. And
Some people thought it should be The Eyes of Texas. But
right.
Nah.
No,
it's not.
it's not. But the story goes, so Pat Neff's term as governor had ended. And after a couple more years, the song was officially declared to be Texas, Our Texas, as the state song.
Mm-hmm.
And for Baylor's centennial anniversary in 1945, the composers of that song, who had maintained the original handwritten manuscript of the music, had given it to Baylor as part of Baylor's 100th anniversary to be part of Pat Neff's collection. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how we have that original
Yeah.
manuscript to the state song.
Yeah, and it had to have a lyric change, I think, from largest and grandest when Texas was no longer the largest
Oh,
state.
after Alaska.
Yeah, it
came
had,
on
right,
board.
they tweaked that, or somebody did.
Yeah.
So, a lot more I want to talk to you about
Uh-huh.
the W.R. Poage Legislative Library.
Right.
A lot more we need to talk about, but we're going
Okay.
to take a break. So stay with us. There is more of the show ahead.
Great products start with quality materials and trusted service. And no one's more committed than Universal Windows Direct of Central Texas. With windows built to last, backed by the best lifetime warranty. 0% financing is available with your good credit. Call Universal Windows Direct of Central Texas today for the last windows you'll ever need.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, your bank for life.
Ready for a better kind of primary care?
At Patient First Direct Primary Care, you get unlimited office visits with same-day or next-day availability.
And instead of rushed appointments, we take the time to actually listen.
There are no insurance hassles, just clear, simple care.
You can reach us by phone or text because access shouldn't be complicated. Our practice has expanded to include Medicare-age patients as part of our direct primary care model.
It's a fresh alternative to the traditional insurance or government-driven systems, care that finally puts you first.
For more information, go to patientfirstdirect.com.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
And we're back with Jeff Pirtle, who is the associate, I'm going to get your title right, the associate librarian and director of the Texas Collection, University Archives, and the W.R. Poage Legislative Library. So these are kind of separate entities.
Yeah, they're subunits.
Okay.
Of the Texas Collection. So sort of the Texas Collection oversees the University Archives, which is its own repository. Mm-hmm. The W.R. Poage Library, it's a repository for Baylor's collection of political materials. So we sometimes call it BCPM.
Okay.
Baylor's collection of political materials. And then, of course, the Texas Collection is all the manuscripts related to the history of Texas.
Yeah. So on the Poage Library, how does that help us better understand maybe the legislative process?
So the Poage Library was started in 1979 with a foundational gift from W.R. Bob Poage, who represented this area in the U.S. House of Representatives from 1938 to 1979. So for 41 years, he was our representative that represented this district here in Waco. And of course, he was a Baylor grad, and it was his staff that really came up with the idea of let's create a library at Baylor with Bob Poage's papers as the foundational gift to create this repository that will henceforth start collecting materials related to elected officials from this area and from Texas.
That's good, yeah.
So in addition to Bob Poage's papers, we have all Chet Edwards' papers there.
Yeah.
We also have congressional representatives who may be Baylor alumni, but represent different districts around Texas.
That's great.
And then we also collect also officials who served on the state level and then on the local level as well, like Lester Gibson, Mayor Mike Morrison's papers are there.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, it really covers the whole bandwidth of elected officials and political materials that's at the Poage Library.
Yeah, of these different collections, are there some you find particularly impactful or meaningful?
So with the Poage Library, we also talk about how any events in American history can be documented through the lens of the political process with those papers that are kept at the Poage Library. So if you want to talk about the civil rights era in the 1960s, you get to read through constituent letters to him about big events, the Vietnam War, Watergate, there's all these national events that you can see through the eyes of people in Central Texas through those papers and how they were being represented by Bob Poage in Washington, D.C. And so we bring in classes all the time to the Texas Collection, to the University Archives, and to the Poage Library as well, who really want to look into what people were thinking about current events and how it was affecting them in their family lives. So it's a great snapshot into that.
What are some of the challenges that you experience in preserving these documents?
So some of the biggest challenges are space issues. Our collection continues to grow, but the buildings stay the same size.
Yeah, and you are still in Carroll's Science Building?
So we're in Carroll Library,
Library,
which
I
is
mean.
right across
Yeah,
the
Carroll
quadrangle
Library,
from
right.
Carroll Science Building.
Right.
So Carroll Library houses Texas Collection and University Archives. And then we also have some overflow storage space in Morrison Hall, which is the old law school building.
Right, the red brick one.
Right. And so the area where the old law library used to be is now our overflow storage. So we
Really?
actually have some storage over there.
Okay.
But that's a big issue that all archival repositories face, is space issues. And you have to just be very discerning on what you're collecting and how you're collecting it. So we have some projects going on right now where we're weeding out a lot of our library print collection, where we really don't need 6 copies of Lonesome Dove in our Texas Collection General Library. So we may weed it down to 2 copies.
So are those like original runs, or
not
first
necessarily.
editions, or?
We will keep the first edition
Okay,
ones
yeah,
if
yeah.
they are signed by the author. Or
So do you have like a sale? Can people come to buy stuff?
we don't do a sale. Whenever we do deaccessions, we usually participate with the larger Moody Library, and there's
Okay.
usually shelves at Moody Library that just say free, and we'll put books
Oh,
on
really?
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yep. So that's how we.
Oh, that's neat.
But that's always an issue, though, is just space, and then really defining on how we are collecting going forward, and then also what collections we can deaccession, which means get rid of those.
Yeah,
So,
cull out, I
Yep.
guess. Yeah. How do you balance preservation with public access?
that's a good question. So, we try to keep all of our collection storage areas between 62 and 65 degrees. We keep them pretty cold
Pretty
because that's what's best for preservation. Try to maintain a relative humidity level of 50%. We've got these high-tech monitors that we place in all of our storage areas that show us what the temperature and relative humidity is and everything. But whenever people come to research at the Texas Collection and to really get their hands into the collection, that's something that we always encourage. We want students to hold a book from the 16th century in their hands and turn the pages
Yeah.
and to feel the paper that it's on and to see how it was printed. And so that's a super important aspect of doing research in archives that you don't get with just reading something online. And so that's something that we always want to encourage, but we always make sure that the students' hands are clean and
Right.
dry, that they just didn't go eat at Chick-fil-A at the sub and then came over and then started
Yeah, there's
handling some
natural
of our
oils on people's
right.
hands, and that's damaging.
And then whenever they're handling photographs, we have them put on some latex gloves whenever they're handling the photographs.
Yeah.
But, that is a really important distinction because we can't leave the things out. We can't leave them under lights for long periods of time. So we're always thinking about preservation and how we're going to continue to keep these artifacts, this material available for generations to come. And so whenever we do make them accessible, we keep a close eye on it, make sure that people are either wearing gloves or have clean hands. But, it's such an important aspect to handle those old materials that it's vital to students and researchers learning. So we always want to make it accessible too.
Is there a document or a discovery that just kind of stopped you in your tracks?
Yes. I can say that on that's happened to me on a number of occasions. So of course, being in Waco, one of the most frequently researched collections that we have deals with the Branch Davidians.
I was going to say, with the Branch Davidian. Yeah.
And we have a lot of valuable materials documenting not only that episode from the early 90s, but the Branch Davidians going all the way back to the 1920s, 1930s, documenting how
Victor
they split.
Hutef and all that bunch.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
We have some of their papers at the Texas collection. We have some scrolls, Branch Davidian scrolls from the 1930s. But something that stopped me in my tracks with that is we also had some Branch Davidian currency that they maintained, like little paper coins and things, I think, that were used sort of within the community as a currency. So that was something.
I don't think I knew that they did that, so that's news to me.
Yeah, that was something pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And then other things, just seeing that we have a letter that was written in December of 1835 from the Alamo saying Bear has fallen, BEXAR, San Antonio, which was the initial event sort of leading up to the siege at the Alamo in March of 1836. Really? And so
do you know how that?
It was donated to us by a collector who collected a lot of historic Texas material and donated it to the Texas collection. So those are just a couple examples that are at the Texas collection. In my time at NBC Universal, we worked closely with the costume department, where periodically they would do audits of their inventory to determine, kind of weed out the costumes that nobody was renting anymore, that kind of thing. And during one of their audits, they found a sport coat in their collection that on the inside pocket, inside here, it said Gregory Peck with the date of January 1962 in it. Well, come to find out, we did some close-up analysis on some production stills. That was his jacket that he wore in To Kill a Mockingbird.
Aww.
And so it was in the costume department. We brought it over to the archives.
That needs to be in the Smithsonian.
I know, for preservation. Really? Yeah. So there were instances like that at Universal Studios where I was like, oh my gosh, somebody could have literally just rented that out for, $20 a day or something. And we found it. Luckily, we found it and brought it into the archives.
Yeah, this reminds me, and this is totally off topic almost, but there is a museum in Coryell County, the Coryell County Museum, the spur capital of Texas.
Okay.
They have like 6,000 sets of spurs.
Yep.
In this collection. But upstairs, there's like a little curio cabinet, and a lady who lived in Coryell County made little miniature dolls. And there is a collection from Gone with the Wind. And this was from years ago. And she wrote to MGM and asked for fabric. And so the little dolls are dressed in the green velvet.
Oh my gosh.
Gone with the Wind. And the other costumes that the character, it gives me chills. I just geek out over stuff.
But it was the same cloth that was used in Scarlett O'Hara's.
MGM sent her snippets of fabrics that were used from the costumes in Gone with the Wind.
That's so crazy.
In Gatesville.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Ain't that fun? So how do these collections then support education and civic engagement?
Yeah. So I'll give a really good example on civic engagement. I was really honored to participate in the Prosperity Banquet that took place on
I was there
Austin
too.
Avenue.
Yeah, Mike and I were there. That was an amazing
back
evening.
in October.
Wonderful evening.
Wasn't that great?
Oh, the weather was perfect.
I know it.
And it was so much fun.
Well, this is a really good example of how the Texas Collection was able to really support the community and support that event because there were some volunteers with Prosper Waco and the Prosperity Banquet that really wanted to showcase and highlight the history of Austin Avenue through the years and determine what were some of the storefronts that were on Austin Avenue whenever the banquet took place in 1911, the original Prosperity
When
Banquet.
this building we're in opened.
When this building was built.
Yeah.
And so I worked with some of the volunteer researchers with Prosperity Banquet who made research appointments at the Texas Collection. We pulled old city directories, news clippings, photographs, and did as best we could to document some of those storefronts that were along Austin Avenue for the Prosperity Banquet. And I don't know if you remember, but there were great big graphics of historic photographs that were put on some of the storefronts on Austin Avenue. So all of those were sourced from the Texas Collection. I was really proud of that.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
that was
great.
that was a really fun event to participate in. And then, of course, just getting involved in the community. It's really important to Baylor as well, that all faculty at Baylor are involved with their church communities, with their civic communities. And so I'm also currently involved with Historic Waco, and I'm serving as vice president of the board of Historic Waco.
Oh, good for you.
We just had a board meeting yesterday, so it's kind of top of mind with me right now.
Yeah, you got some great things coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's so many opportunities to partner with Historic Waco with the Texas Collection as well. And one example is that Historic Waco hosted a food tour in the historic home, the Earl Harrison home that's over near Pape Gardens. It's part of Pape Gardens over there. And what they did, they called it the Pat Neff food tour. So we found like the dinner menu for his gubernatorial inauguration dinner. And there were some students from University High School and a chef that all coordinated to recreate.
I was there.
Were you there for that?
Yes, I was part of that. Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
No, it was so much fun.
Yeah, but it's
so clever, you know, it's just such a great way to integrate history with fundraising. I mean, all the great things. Yeah.
But it's those recipes and that history that we maintain at the Texas Collection that we found in Pat Neff's papers.
They'd still be there.
I know.
Really. Yeah. What is exciting you about the future of archives and what you do?
So, of course, the big topic of conversation all across higher education right now is artificial intelligence. And as we continue to digitize archival material and, you know, it becomes part of this larger data bank of intelligence that's accessible. And so what really excites me about the future is as we continue to bring these artifacts, this material to light for researchers, for students, that we're working to get it digitized. And then, you know, there's all sorts of artificial intelligence applications out there now that can now translate, transcribe oral histories, the spoken words, old sermons, things like that, that can automatically read historic documents, even if it's old cursive handwriting now. I think there's even applications now that can help read some of that old handwriting.
Some of it is like, I don't know how they.
I know, but as that material is being digitized, I mean, it's that much more accessible for people to learn and to grow and to know all of the different materials that are out there. So that's what's really exciting about it to me. At Baylor, one small example is that we just transitioned to a new collections management database system. So it's a database that has all of our collections in there.
Yeah.
Our old system, if you did a Google search for like Jules Bledsoe papers, our collection wouldn't come up. And we have the most comprehensive collection of Jules Bledsoe.
Got that stuff.
We've got that.
Yeah.
With this new system that we have with Archive Space, though, if you do a Google search for Jules Bledsoe papers, it's the first thing that pops up on a Google search, and it's right there. And we're also working to digitize a lot of that content, put it up on Baylor's digital library where it's available to the world. So it's that access of material that is our main goal and purpose. And so all of these new technologies really helping us get to that point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, when you walked in, you said, I've never been in the LB. And I hear that from a lot of people, but I've never been to the Texas collection.
Oh, you haven't?
I know. It is one of those things. Oh, I should do this. And I want to do this. So what's the first thing I'm going to see when I come in, and what should I not miss?
Okay. So I'll give you a little virtual tour right now.
Okay.
So the first thing that you see when you walk into the Texas collection, in our front lobby, we have portraits of Dr. Kenneth Ainsworth and his wife, Maud. So Dr. Kenneth Ainsworth made the foundational gift to Baylor to create the Texas Sun story when we're standing in front of the portraits of Dr. and Mrs. Ainsworth, because I read this in an oral history interview that was done with Guy B. Harrison, who was director of the Texas collection from 1928 to 1969. He was friends with Dr. Ainsworth and told the story about the genesis of the Texas collection. And the way he tells the story, and the way I tell to all my guests that I bring to the Texas collection, is that Dr. Ainsworth was a prominent, well-known physician here in Waco, had lots of patients, was a beloved member of the community. I think he also served on UT's Board of Regents for a while. But he was also an avid collector of all things Texas. He loved Texas history. And so he was working with a lot of rare book and manuscript dealers back in the teens and 20s to accumulate all of this original material documenting the pre-Republic and Republic eras of Texas, original manuscripts, letters, broadside documents, maps, volumes of Texas history. And the way Guy B. Harrison told the story is that one day Dr. Ainsworth came home after a long day seeing patients and finds his wife sitting in front of a hot blast furnace, just throwing away all of these rare documents and manuscripts into the fire.
She was cleaning house?
And Dr. Ainsworth comes in and says,
my gosh,
what is going on here? What are you doing? And she said, this Texas stuff is starting to take over the house. Either it goes or me and the kids go. You choose. And so it was at that time that he made a phone call to Dr. Samuel Palmer Brooks, who was president of Baylor at the time, and said, hey, would there be any interest in creating a Texas history library at Baylor? And so it was with that initial donation that the Texas collection started. And Baylor also had the very first collegiate level Texas history class that was taught by a female named Olive Tanner, who was serving as curator of the Texas history material that Dr. Ainsworth had donated. So that's kind of the first story that I tell whenever people come into the Texas collection, just about our genesis. And then we also have a exhibit area where we usually do a couple exhibits every year. Right now, we still have a lot of stuff up from our homecoming exhibit that we put up in late October, November. But that's about to come down, and we're going to put up an exhibit that's in alignment with America 250, which is for, happening this year. It's hard to believe that's this year.
July 4th. It's going to be
But a number of Baylor Special Collections libraries were all doing America 250 exhibits. And so that's what's next going in that first front entry area to the Texas collection.
Oh, that is, I gotta come come down there and
I'll give you a
that.
VIP tour.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. Well, I like to end these little visits with it's a questionnaire similar to the one the late, great James Lipton would use on Inside the Actors Studio. So I'm going to ask you these little questions. What is your favorite word as an archivist dealing with words?
Accession.
Okay, that's a good one. All right.
It's when we're acquiring materials, we accession them into the collection to officially, it's the official transfer of property. When you bring it into your collection, you accession it.
And your least favorite word?
I was about to say de-accession.
Yeah, but you do kind of need to move things out, and maybe not in the fireplace like Mrs. Ainsworth was doing.
I'll put it into two words: administrative responsibilities.
Okay, okay.
Because I would love to spend more time with the collections and just opening up boxes and finding things. That's so much fun.
I love that.
And periodically I'll take care of a reference question myself, but a big part of my job really is just administering the overall operation of the department. And it's important and I love it, but it does take away from, that first love of really handling the materials.
Well, you've kind of answered my next question: is what turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
It's finding information that nobody knew previously existed.
Yeah.
Where if you can find a little nugget of information that
like
is a missing piece of the puzzle, it's absolutely like a treasure hunter, and finding some bits of information that nobody previously knew. Like, that's so much fun.
So what turns you off creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Gosh. I love being around people. I love interacting with people. I would describe myself as an extrovert, but I do sometimes need to have my alone time, and I can't be on all the time. I know some people are wonderful people that work in development. Like, they can be on all the time. And I love that about them. And that is a
They
cool
need
job.
to be. They need to have that skill. Yeah.
Yeah. But there is kind of an introvert aspect to me as well, where sometimes I just like to go get under a blanket and read a book, and that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your favorite sound?
Oh gosh. An orchestra.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
I know. And since Eleanor's been involved with Waco Symphony Council, we've really loved going to see the Waco Symphony.
We've got some great concerts coming up.
Oh my gosh.
Great
It's
concerts
been awesome.
coming up. What is your least favorite sound?
I was about to say books falling off the shelf.
Yeah.
Or a broken water pipe, which I was worried about with the freeze.
Yeah, with the freeze.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. What job would you like to try? I mean, did you always kind of know you were drawn toward museum studies and this kind of thing? Or?
So, yeah, I've always loved history. I majored in history because it was the one class I always got an A in. And I was like, I might as well major in this if I'm getting A's in it. But I did not necessarily want to write history, and I didn't want to write a thesis or doctoral dissertation or anything like that. So that's why I went into the museum archives tract, where I'm handling all this great material and making it available to the people who do love to write and do the research. So I love that about it. But if I were doing something else, I used to say a long time ago, as soon as I retire, I just want to be a school crossing guard. Like, how fun would that be to just hang out on the corner and get to know some kids and be the crossing guard and stop traffic for them and just ensuring their safety? I'm like, maybe one day when I retire, that's what I'm going to do is be a school crossing guard and just,
Okay.
I think that would be a fun job.
What job do you know you don't want though?
Being an accountant.
Yeah.
Dealing with
I'm with you on that.
dealing with budgets, finances, that kind of thing. I mean, I have to do it a little bit for my job.
Are doing some of that kind of thing. Yeah,
dealing with acquisition budgets and that kind of thing. I deal with it a little bit, but when it comes to doing like the taxes and
okay,
that kind of thing.
One last question. When you arrive at the pearly gates, what do you want to hear the Lord say to you?
Good and faithful servant, job well done. I think that's what most everybody wants to hear.
That's pretty much,
I know. I've seen
our hope.
I've seen some people put it in email signatures. Like when they get there, they want to like be worn out, tattered, like just used up 100%. I don't know if I'll ever get to that point, but as long as I'm able to live out and keep some of these artifacts and materials that I'm stewarding right now available for the next generations, I think my job will be well done.
Big, big job. Thank you so much for painting this wonderful picture of the Texas collection. I have been looking forward to this for a while. So thank you, Jeff Pirtle.
Yep, this has been
Appreciate
fun.
you. Stay with us. There is more of the show ahead.
If your AC is working overtime and your house still feels hot, maybe it's your old windows that are to blame. Worn seals, warped frames, and outdated glass can let hot air in and cool air out. Beat the Texas heat. Call Universal Windows Direct of Central Texas today for a cooler home and lower energy bill. 0% financing is available with your good credit.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
At TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, your bank for life.
Ready for a better kind of primary care?
At Patient First Direct Primary Care, you get unlimited office visits with same-day or next-day availability.
And instead of rushed appointments, we take the time to actually listen.
There are no insurance hassles, just clear, simple care.
You can reach us by phone or text because access shouldn't be complicated. Our practice has expanded to include Medicare-age patients as part of our direct primary care model.
It's a fresh alternative to the traditional insurance or government-driven systems, care that finally puts you first.
For more information, go to patientfirstdirect.com.
The reason that their service is outstanding because the people they have working, behind the desk and the folks working in the garage, taking care of business. And they give you a date, they give you a time, and that they're spot on. And they're professional, they take care of it, and they answer all your questions, and they're fun to work with.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi.
Along with the cookbooks and newspapers and periodicals and everything else, we also have a very small collection of paintings here at the Texas Collection. It's a pretty small collection, but we try to have as many hanging on our walls as possible so everyone can enjoy them. One collection of paintings that we have here that, to our knowledge, is completely unique to the Texas Collection is Donald Yena's 6 Spanish Missions. Donald Yena is a painter who specializes in portraying Texas history in the Old West with amazing detail. Yena, who's a Texan from Illinois, has a love and a skill for stories and scenes from the Old West. His paintings have been in such places like the Woody Museum in San Antonio, the Texas State Library, and here at the Texas Collection. His 6 mission paintings are recreations of the ruins of the missions before they were restored to their present conditions. Painted in 1968 for the Hemisphere in San Antonio, Texas, the paintings were later acquired by Dr. H.F. Connolly Jr., who then donated them to the Texas Collection. Today they're displayed all around the Texas Collection. They're a beautiful reminder of the Texas that once was. If you're interested in Donald Yena's paintings or any paintings depicting Texas history or Baylor history, please come visit us here at the Texas Collection. Or if you need to, contact us for more information. Links on how to do that will be in the description box below this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll tune in next week for another video.
Great products start with quality materials and trusted service. And no one's more committed than Universal Windows Direct of Central Texas. With windows built to last, backed by the best lifetime warranty. 0% financing is available with your good credit. Call Universal Windows Direct of Central Texas today for the last windows you'll ever need.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, your bank for life.
Ready for a better kind of primary care?
At Patient First Direct Primary Care, you get unlimited office visits with same-day or next-day availability.
And instead of rushed appointments, we take the time to actually listen.
There are no insurance hassles, just clear, simple care.
You can reach us by phone or text because access shouldn't be complicated. Our practice has expanded to include Medicare-age patients as part of our direct primary care model.
It's a fresh alternative to the traditional insurance or government-driven systems, care that finally puts you first.
For more information, go to patientfirstdirect.com.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Hello and welcome back to the Texas Collection. We're here today for our tour part 2 with Jeannie, who's going to be showing us around the Poage Room. So Jeannie, could you just tell us a little bit about what you do here at the Texas Collection?
Okay, well, I have just started working here, and in part I am coordinating the regional history fair, and then I also have some responsibilities here in the map room.
Could you just tell us a little bit generally what the map room is and how it fits into the Texas Collection?
Sure. It is a special room, as you can see, with lots of space for the collection, which is over 17,000 maps.
Wow.
And there's a huge range of maps that are included. Some of them go back to the 1500s. The focus is definitely on Texas, but we have the history of Texas, the exploration of Texas, the colonization of Texas, as well as much more recent highway maps and topographic maps and lots of local flavor as well.
Wow, every time I visit a new place like this in the Texas Collection, I hear exactly what we have. My mind is just like, we have that here. Well, thank you so much for showing us around. We have to go down to the archives next, so I'll meet you down there. So here we are in the Texas Collection Archives. I'm here with Amanda, who's going to be showing us around a little bit. Amanda, could you just tell us a little bit about what it is you do here?
I am the University Archivist, so all things Baylor history, administration, not just student organizations.
Tell us a little bit about where we are.
We are in the stacks of the archives, the university archives, as well as the manuscript special collections archives.
I see that there are a ton of materials around us. Can you tell us a little bit about where they come from?
Mostly we'll have donations, family, or an organization that they're a part of, business or something like that is interested in depositing their records here.
When I first came to the Texas collection, I was expecting a little more something looking like a museum or 3D objects, things like uniforms and even guns. And not that I'm disappointed or anything, but it's just not that way.
Right.
Do you get a lot of people who think the same way?
Yeah, the Texas collection did used to have a lot of those sorts of materials. There came a point when you had to say, we are in archives and this is what we do.
Thank you so much for showing us around the archives. Absolutely. Here we are with Jeff, who's going to be showing us around some of the photography that we have here at the Texas Collection. Jeff, could you tell us a little bit about what you do here at the Texas Collection?
Sure. My title here at the Texas Collection is Audio and Visual Curator. I work with photographs, audio items, tapes, and various media and the audio section, and videos as well. We have over 1.5 million photographs.
Wow.
Including 35 millimeter negatives, negatives of all various sizes, from 35 millimeter film to 8x10 glass plate negatives. We're digitizing those as we speak, but photographs that are printed, such as these examples here, are ready for the patron to come and view.
With over 1 million photos, how do you keep track of all of those?
It's a daily job. Constant, I almost want to say, battle with indexing our collection and letting people know what we have. And that's the main goal of indexing your collection and getting the information out there so people know what we have. Photographic collection, the Texas Collection has digitized 5,000 images, and they're on the Baylor website on Content DM, hosted through the Riley Digitization Center. We've got tens of thousands more to go. So some are for immediate viewing at home. People interested in looking at the photographs can also come here and request photographs.
Jeff, thank you so much for taking us on a tour of the photo collection and showing us such neat photos of Waco that we have.
I look forward to seeing you here at the Texas Collection.
Thank you so much for joining us on this tour of the Texas Collection. Be sure to check out our channel next week for another video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you liked it. See you next week.
If your AC is working overtime and your house still feels hot, maybe it's your old windows that are to blame. Worn seals, warped frames, and outdated glass can let hot air in and cool air out. Beat the Texas heat. Call Universal Windows Direct of Central Texas today for a cooler home and lower energy bill. 0% financing is available with your good credit.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, your bank for life.
Ready for a better kind of primary care?
At Patient First Direct Primary Care, you get unlimited office visits with same-day or next-day availability.
And instead of rushed appointments, we take the time to actually listen.
There are no insurance hassles, just clear, simple care.
You can reach us by phone or text because access shouldn't be complicated. Our practice has expanded to include Medicare-age patients as part of our direct primary care model.
It's a fresh alternative to the traditional insurance or government-driven systems, care that finally puts you first.
For more information, go to patientfirstdirect.com.
The reason that their service is outstanding because the people they have working, behind the desk and the folks working in the garage, taking care of business. And they give you a date, they give you a time, and they're spot on. And they're professional, they take care of it, and they answer all your questions, and they're fun to work with.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.